It doesn't matter if you're introverted or extroverted. If you're a mom, you need time alone. You need it. Let's get into why. And some of these reasons are gonna surprise you, but then you're gonna go, ha. Yeah. The first reason moms really need to be alone, to have some significant amount of alone, and that is because your nervous system needs to calm down. Like, it's legit hard on your central nervous system to have kids because it starts young. Because when they're babies, it's like we're attuned to their every move. And then it's like, I mean, you know how it is in the middle of a night. It's like the cry hasn't even started and you're half out of bed. Well, this carries on. And then 1 is my hardest age. I'm a mama 5 and a certified baby and toddler sleep consultant. 1 is the hardest because they're always trying to go off and hurt themselves. They're gonna climb on stuff. They're gonna try to jump off. They're gonna slide down. They're gonna try to walk in the road. They're gonna like try to walk straight to the pool and bend over it. It's like you literally can't let them out of your sight at all. And so if you don't have regular time away from your kids, where when they're away from you, you're not worried they're gonna get hurt, because then you still can't calm down. So you actually need that time because your nervous system needs to calm down. Moms these days are on a total heightened, everything is heightened and they're so anxious. Oh, I saw this really funny meme. It was like, moms these days be like on their 3rd cup of iced coffee and put on a murder podcast. This is what it's like. So your nervous system is all jacked up. You're listening to murder podcasts. You're watching Netflix shows about everybody getting like all the words I ain't even gonna say because they'll block me on YouTube. And then we're like, I don't know why it's like modern moms are so stressed. It's true. We are. Being alone will help this. It'll help calm your nervous system if you use it properly. And I don't like to point out like, especially if you have more kids, but like, especially if you have a lot of kids, especially if they're young, and especially if some of them have special needs. The second reason moms need to be alone is because mom guilt is so strong and so bad, and you need to be away from your children in order to be able to refocus and recenter. We just need a little bit of escape, a little bit of a time alone. So maybe we pull out our phone, or we're gonna read a book, and we can do this while our kids are around, but like there's always low level guilt, because the guilt's like, you should be playing with your children right now. And so you don't actually really relax that much. It's almost like an escape. It's like that setting on the Instant Pot where it's like you like let out the steam a little bit before you open it, so the whole thing does. It's like, that's what it's like. We're gonna let out a little bit of steam because we're gonna scroll for a minute. But actually, we're gonna get a side of guilt because now we ignored our kids. Nope, they just need to be taken care of, and then we can recenter or refocus. And what I mean by that is, I was thinking the other day, I used to read a lot of books, and I did that, and interested in life, I was curious. I had things to talk about with people besides just, you know, how busy I was. And then like gradually I lost that, you know, and then if I'm only reading in the evening, I don't want to read a self-help book before bed. So I kind of got out of the habit of that. And the other day I heard somebody talking about a book called The Gift of Fear, about your intuition. And I picked it up and I realized I haven't just read a book to learn by myself in a long time. But some of our values that are the most important to us, we can actually lose sight of, forget, or not spend any time with when our kids are little because we're so busy. This might be reading our Bible, studying, even doing like a hobby or something that we used to put a lot of time in. And it's like it all kind of goes out. And it's like, that's fine, I'm a mom now. But actually, over time, our sense of identity is eroded without doing those things. So time alone can help us to recenter or to refocus without the guilt. The third reason moms need time alone, is a little bit of a confession, is that we need perspective. We need to take perspective, and when we're with our kids all the time, we don't have any. And I was looking at them. Now, I'm a country girl. I got 5 kids. I had 5 kids under 5. Like, literally, my daughter was like, was she 5 or was she 4? No, she was like 5 and 3 months when my 5th child was born. She was like a daughter. Okay, lots of kids. They were young. It was intense. Okay. So I looked at a picture back like a few years ago, and I thought, did I take my kids out of the house like that? Like, I felt like the hair wasn't brushed. They looked dirty, and I was like, what did oh, bless Rachel from the past. Love you, girl. You know, no shame, but I had no perspective, you know, and sometimes getting away from our kids gives us a little perspective. And this is especially true about behaviors. And I say this gently, you know, our kids are human. They're gonna make mistakes, do things that annoy us, just like we are. But if we're around our kids all the time, we can actually get used to behaviors that are not really good or that are super annoying. And we don't notice them until we've had some space. Maybe we go alone to an event somewhere else, and then there's other kids, and we can say, oh, my kid would never sit for 3 minutes and wait at a restaurant. Getting a little bit of space, doing something alone, doing something just with adults, or just having a little bit, not forgetting about you as a human. I'm not talking about intense times away. Yes, I do advocate occasional mom vacations, which I have a whole video about, but I'm not even talking about that, although that is good. Just having that time where you can go be away, it gives you some perspective, and you have enough of a distance to see things a little more clearly. We humans are so good at denial and getting used to things that we really don't need to get used to, that having some perspective can help us make more wise and better decisions. And having alone time can help that. The fourth reason it's important for moms to have regular alone time, or just regular, even if this alone time is the kids are in bed and you spend a couple of hours in the evening, of course this counts. Or if you get up a little bit early in the morning, of course that counts. Or when they're in nap, yes. Independent play, exactly. Or they're at school or whatever. All of these things count. But anyway, the fourth reason why moms need it is so we don't lose our identity. I've seen this, and you know, of course, whenever we're moms, it's really what we're focused on, especially if we have a lot of kids, we're in that busy season of life. We do give a lot of our time to our kids, and it's our joy and our privilege to do that. And we want to do that. We love them so bad. We're like, what else can I do for you, my babies that I made in my tummy? We want to do this, right? We do. But there is a danger in pouring everything about our lives. Like, just imagine, and I did this the other day as a thought exercise. It's kind of scary, okay? But I thought, okay, like if tomorrow I fast forward to when all my kids are gone, will I have any excitement for anything else besides them? Like, will I have anything to do? Or will my life feel like it cratered and is totally empty? And if the answer is it feels like there's literally nothing in life but your kids, then this isn't something that you should just get depressed about, but it is a sign that you should start thinking and having some of that time alone where you can actually do some things that you want to do. And I have long thought that a lot of reason why kids don't want to grow up these days, like they're super entitled. Oh, you know, I got some videos on that. I actually have a whole community of moms called Life School at Home, where we're actually preparing our kids for life so they don't become entitled. And I'll link that in the description. But one thing that really makes kids not care if they grow up is if they see their parents their whole life, like not do anything special. It's like anything their parents did, the kids could do. Nothing happened that the kids, it's like, what's there left to grow up for? Like, oh, they do this, I get to do everything they do, but they gotta pay bills. Sounds like adulthood blows. So we don't know. So it's okay to do some things without your kids. It's okay to go to adult events. You don't have to feel guilty about this. You're not like depriving your kids of anything because you go on a date night or because you take a weekend trip and you don't bring them. Like, these are just things to kind of consider, you know, and the mom who's super selfish isn't gonna listen to this video anyway. So if you're listening to me or if you listen to my any other videos, you're probably not that mom. You're probably the mom that would err on the side of not ever doing anything alone because you would be worried it would bother your kids. But it's actually okay if you show them an example of having your own identity. What are gifts God gave you? What are some talents He's given you? What are some passions or hobbies that you've had? You can still do those. And sometimes you might do them with the kids, but you can also do them without the kids. Like, you can be your own person who's also a mom. And the last reason moms need time alone, I saved like the most basic and obvious one for last, which is so you don't lose your daggum marbles. You just don't lose them. Like, you know, whenever I find myself trying to like go off, be alone in my closet and close the door and hope nobody comes in, this is when I know I'm due for some alone time. And kids can sniff it. It's like they sniff this need for alone time. And then they're like, mom, 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 mom. And then they follow you and then you can't use a bathroom. You can't use a bath. They're just like standing over your bath and they're like, mom, I really need a snack. So if you find yourself always wanting to escape, oh, I wrote a whole book on this called If Mama Ain't Happy, Why Healthy Boundaries is Good for Everybody in Your Family. I definitely encourage you to check that out if you find it hard to carve out alone time or if you deal with a lot of guilt, for sure. This is not boundaries like rules for the kids. This is like internal boundaries that moms need to have. Anyway, you don't want to lose your marbles, right? You don't want to be always on edge. You don't want to be resenting your kids like these kids just existing means I'm miserable. No, we don't want to be like that, right? We want to bring the joy and the peace and the positive, happy energy to our kids. And we want them to bounce off of us. Like, we want it to be all together, us enjoying life. And it's hard to do if we're miserable. And so oftentimes it's not like, sometimes there's real problems we need to fix, but sometimes the problem is that our nervous system is overloaded, our brain is overloaded, all systems are engaged and we need to vent our instant pot of pressure inside us by having some space and some alone time to just process life, to just take a break, to not be hyper vigilant, to not be directly watching kids, to not be listening to kids who just be like, mom, 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 mom. Sometimes you just need a break and just need to be like, I'm gonna take it. And if that voice, the critic inside your head is like, it's so selfish, you just need to say, I don't care, I'm just gonna take a break, it's fine. Everybody's gonna be fine. And the more you just take a few breaks and then you realize the kids were totally okay, the more you feel, you know, centered, like maybe it's okay if I do things that mean I'm not miserable. On that note, be sure to check out my next video, which is things that interesting things, common things moms do that's not like on purpose, it's like accidental things we do that tend to make us miserable. Be sure to check that out.